So here we've got the TWSBI Classic. I got mine in the Classic Blue. We're going to need a few things for this. First I'm going to start with the parts diagram that is included in the back of the case. You're also going to need a slotted screwdriver. You're going to need the piston wrench that they include in the case. And then you're going to need something to pull out the inner cap. And I made this tool from an old screwdriver that I actually used to remove the knob on the VAC 700. But I'll talk more about this when we get to pulling the inner cap. And yeah, you probably just heard my daughter there in the background. So we'll go ahead and get started with this. We'll just go ahead and start with the front section here. This simply just screws off. It shouldn't be too tight. And then this comes apart in a few more pieces. You can see this is number 6, the grip. And then we have number 4 right here, this silver piece, which is the grip ferrule, and that should just slide right off. And then there will be an O-ring right there. You can see it kind of coming off there. That little O-ring. And then here's the nib unit. Now this nib and feed should pull out of this unit, and it'll be a lot easier to do once the whole pin is together in the pin. Now when we assemble the section, it is important to know the orientation of a few parts. First we want to get the O-ring back on. And then when we replace the ferrule, there is an orientation. There's 4 little tabs all the way around the section. And if you don't have it lined up properly, you can't put it all the way on. So just kind of rotate it, and then it'll slip all the way forward. Now there is an orientation with the grip as well. Hopefully you can see this, but inside there's a little step, a little ledge, and that's going to fit right up against the ferrule. Now if you put it on backwards, which you can, it just won't thread onto the barrel. So if you get that on the proper orientation, it should just thread back on without any issue. But now we can move on to the piston. And what we want to do here is just unscrew it a little bit, slide the wrench on there, and now these are reverse threads, so you want to go the opposite way you normally would. Unscrew that a little bit and it will slide out just like that. So now we've got the barrel here. We've got this O-ring here, which is number 7, and here you can see the entire piston unit. So here's the piston. We can see almost all the parts of it, and you can get a general idea of the operation. Turn the knob and it retracts it. Turn it the other way and it extends it, same way it would inside the pin. And we'll go ahead and take this apart, and to do so, just unscrew the piston knob until it comes off. So I'll kind of try and lay these out here. So that's all the parts. We got number 9, the piston, the screw, the connector, the screw bolt, and the end cap. And putting it back together is pretty simple. Just slide the screw bolt into the end cap, slide that onto the connector, and what you want to do is go ahead and thread the cap on about halfway so that you can see some of the threads here. And then slide the screw into the connector and start threading it in. And the idea here is that you want the edge of the piston knob to screw down to the edge of this connector here at the same time as the piston meets this side of the connector. So we're pretty close there, and that gives us nearly a full stroke. Now you can tweak that setting by screwing the piston so it's out so it doesn't move anymore, and then threading the piston knob further on or further off before you engage the screw. So here I'll show you what I mean. If I screw this piston knob so it's just barely on, and then I engage the thread and thread it all the way down, you can now see the gap between the edge of the piston knob and the edge of the connector here. Now what that's going to translate to is a gap when it meets the barrel. See what I'm saying? See that gap there? I mean, that's screwed down as far as it'll go. So what we want to do is thread the piston knob on further before we engage the screw. I'll show you what I mean by that. So back the piston out all the way. So see, it's off. Now I'm going to go ahead and thread it on there a little bit more, and then I'm going to push the screw in so that it's engaged now. And so when I screw the piston knob all the way down, the piston meets the connector. Now I'll go ahead and put it back in the barrel. You can see that when I screw the piston knob down, that it's pretty much meets the barrel. There you go. Now the last thing we have to do is take apart the cap. And as I mentioned, you'll need some tool to pull out the inner cap. This is one I had made from a slotted or straight edge screwdriver, and I just cut a gap in there and then bent that over. And these are pretty sharp, so it'll give a good grab on that. But just slide that in there and pull out the inner cap like that. And then you'll need another screwdriver that will fit down inside there to unscrew it. There we go. And then there's the screw on the inside, just a little guy. There's the cap, there's the clip, and there's the finial. And that's all there is to the TWSBI Classic. And assembling it is just the reverse order. So if you have any questions or comment, please leave them below and I'll answer them as quickly as I can. Thanks for watching, everyone.
Indulge